What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tincup here with another episode of The Barf, where we take a look at last week's news, so
That is
you
correct.
could be prepared for the week ahead. Yeah, I got to get that down. But
Good,
anyway,
fine.
it's been a long week of travel. I'm happy to be home. How about you?
I am happy to be home as well, I have to say.
Yeah, I need to get a
Cornerstone
haircut.
Cornerstone Connect was fantastic.
It was a good event. We podcast live there. Got to meet a lot of really solid people. I was
Yeah.
excited. Yeah,
And
excited.
I think the analyst day before really prepped us to ask better questions
Hmm.
during our podcast. So it was good. Well
Yeah.
done. Well played.
For as much as we stayed attentive, no, we actually we were very attentive.
Yeah,
We did well. We
we
did
asked a
well.
lot of questions.
We did well.
They have a lot
Uh,
going on, by the way.
they do have a lot going on. They do have a lot going on, and I'll
14
tell you,
roadshows, two
yeah,
acquisitions,
yeah,
product launches.
two really strong acquisitions, and I'll tell you before we kick off. I'm sure we'll talk about them at some point.
Yeah.
But the VR demo, and I know people have
Oh
done
yeah.
this that we
Oh
went
yeah.
through, really, it threw me. It
It was
was
good.
fantastic. Kyle did a really good job with that, running that. But when I put the glasses on, it was like I was in the room, cool, right?
Yeah.
Been
Yep.
there,
Yep.
done that.
Right.
But then this woman walked in, scared me. Like I was just, whoa, like I jumped.
Brought you back
And
to
it, it,
elementary.
it did not only that, she didn't like my answers.
I
She did not like my answers, which I was a
forgot
little
to tell
offended
you.
at.
I forgot to tell you, I was that woman.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was a little offended. Because
No,
I thought
no,
my answers were pretty dead on.
nope,
But
nope.
clearly not.
Which
This
one
is
did you
why I
do?
don't
Because I did
work.
pre-screening. Which one did you do?
I did.
Was it a job simulation?
No, I think it was a performance review.
Oh.
Clearly, I didn't do very well.
Huh.
And the other one was customer service, I think.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a customer service play.
I was
Yeah.
in that. I was in that section side of it as well. That's the
Yeah.
Tailspin for those at home. That's the Tailspin acquisition that they did earlier this year. But they're doing 14 city tours,
Yeah.
14 cities, and then two huge acquisitions,
Yeah.
all new management team. Just a lot of good things going on. Anyhow, enough about that. Let's get into the news. What do you got?
Let's do it. You're kicking off today, right? No, or am I kicking off today?
You are.
All
Tag
right.
her it.
Oh, look, and I'm starting with Apple expands Vision Pro. See, I knew there's a reason
Yeah.
why I
There
started
always,
talking
there's
VR.
always
Yeah.
a reason.
So there's really no, I mean, I already went. There we go. So I saw this story around the Apple Pro, which when Kyle broke it out there, like
$4,000.
$4,000. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's like $3,800 or something listed right
Round
now.
up.
Yeah, like it'll
It'll
in a
come
couple
down.
iterations it'll come down. But I'll tell you, putting that on, I couldn't. He said he works 20 hours a week in that.
That's what he said.
Not for me. That's going to be too
Multiple
heavy.
screens,
Multiple
multiple
screens, like,
screens, and
yeah,
media, everything rolling at the same time.
yeah. People
I
in
think,
your space for meetings, like that's pretty badass, and it's
yeah,
very realistic.
yeah. And again, that's his company. That's what he's been doing for
Mm-hmm.
a long time. So he's used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it, to do VR, to fully move to VR. I think that's what you have to do. You have to go all in.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
can't be like a halfway thing. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, Apple, I think everyone saw that. Good news.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Ryan, if I said the word care washing, what would you say?
I'm still trying to understand chrono working, so I'm gonna say you take care of. Be gentle when you wash things. I don't know.
Close, close. So, no, it has nothing to do with that type of washing. However, this was from Harvard Business Review, hbr.org.
Okay.
How care washing alienates employees. Care washing is a scam. It's a way of saying, see how we take care of our employees, when in reality, they're not a priority at all. The only thing that matters is productivity that you can get for them. Hard stops, candidates beware. So, we've read everything about how candidates care about mental health, well-being, all the wellness, actually. You put them all in a big family: financial wellness, health wellness, all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And this is CEO's basically it's kind of like what it came from whitewashing,
Hmm.
right? It came from that where we
So they're
base
lying.
they're lying.
Hmm.
That is the overall point.
It's
But
what we expect.
it's well, here's the deal. They're saying one thing about their mental health of their employees, and then
Hmm.
all the actions and behaviors and everything else is opposite of that. So read the art. It's actually a really fascinating article, and we'll put together, shocking, not shocking, on Harvard Business Review. So go take a look at it. It's good stuff.
All right. Jobless claims. I got to get that right.
Boy,
Jobless
I
claims,
almost
jobless
thought you said something else. But all right, run with it.
benefits. They are up. They're the highest levels in the last 10 months. So,
Really?
yeah, so today rose about
Hmm.
13,000, up from 229. The expectation was 225. So, not ridiculous.
Right. Oh, well,
Ridiculous off, but it's
that
up.
means the expectation that we're going to go down by 4,000,
The expectation exactly that it was going to go
and it went
down.
up. Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, look, I'm not
interesting.
an economist, or labor market expert, but I think this is where where we've been seeing the trend that people are staying at their jobs longer. So
Right.
fewer workers are leaving their jobs, and I truly believe it's just a fear of not being able to find another job, or finding another job at the salary level that they are at, because they took a job when salary levels were inflated. And so they're sticking
Hmm.
around until they get pushed out. And
It'd be interesting to
therefore, we're
see
not
how
seeing
this
that.
tracks month over month up to the election, because
Yep.
that could be a big thing. If that keeps going up, that could sway the folks that
Hmm.
haven't already made a choice, which I'm not sure there's undecideds. When people talk about it in the news, they're like, oh, there's this large cluster of undecideds. Not in this.
That just means they don't want to say what their
Yeah,
politics are on TV.
that's exactly right.
That's kind of
Or
how I take
they're
that.
they're undecided on whether or not they're going to go vote.
Right. Well, that too. Yeah, that
Not
too.
between the
So,
candidates, but anyhow, but we
huh.
should definitely, as we being all of us, should be looking at the number 242 and looking at what next
Yeah.
month tracks.
Yep. All right.
All righty, EEOC appoints Shivaram Gokavi. I butchered that, so sorry. Go ahead and go take a look at his name. It's on EEOC website, so go take a look at that.
Yeah.
Is a deputy chief information officer, which he's been there as in that role for a while, and they made him their artificial intelligence officer.
Hmm.
So we've already seen some cases about pre-employment and employment around AI. Already started it. We've talked about it here, but we've already started to kind of see those things pop. So you've arrived when the government hires AI
Yep.
officers.
Yep. And it's a question that you've been posing to a lot of people in our shows, just asking them one question: where are we at, right? And so here we are. Here's where we're at, and I think we're gonna obviously see more of it now. It's been validated. All right. So Amazon is making news again, not for layoffs this time, but because they're being sued again, right? Shocking, not shocking. So drivers are filing 15,000 drivers filed claims that they were not paid compensation for overtime. And
Ah,
so this is the
classification.
classification of what is an employee
Yep,
versus a contractor. We're seeing this across the board. This is in
yep.
prevalent in driving, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, all of them. And this is no different. So the interesting piece here is they can't just file one claim. They have to file 15,000 individual claims on
Right.
behalf of each individual person. So that's going to be a massive undertaking, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's misclassification, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this, obviously, moving forward.
All righty. Ryan, we got workers at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods, all owned by the same company, by the way, wearing body cameras.
What?
This is on Boston25news.com.
Uh,
So, smile, you're on camera. Basically, their hope that these body cameras will help them de-escalate incidents, deter crime, demonstrate to associates and customers how they take safety seriously, and Karen and Chad switch your flow. In fact, I watched this morning. I watched 15 minutes of Karen moments on
Were they from
YouTube.
TJ Maxx?
No, 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 they were from YouTube, and it was a 15-minute video on just different Karen
Hmm.
moments what people had captured, and man, people are wheels off. I knew that. However,
It's just
uh,
fun to watch.
it is fun to watch, but
Yeah, it's fun to
like
watch.
it's like it reminds me. It's 1985 or 86. I had a woman who basically they called me as customer service, and I went up there, and there was a woman yelling at me about the price of broccoli.
Hmm.
I mean, full
Makes
on.
sense.
I mean, out of, and she put her hands on me. So she pointed in my chest and she pushed into my chest. I said, "Okay, so there you cross the line. You put your hands on me, and I'm gonna call the police." So I'm sorry, broccoli was mispriced. We can handle the financial part over here at this little desk
Yeah.
called customer service. You don't get to put your hands on me.
Right.
So she
Right.
backed down. She was cool after that, but yeah, the price
Yeah.
of broccoli scanned wrong, and it became
I,
an issue.
I'm not sure that I would be comfortable going into a store. I know you're being recorded,
Uh
but
huh.
that's for loss prevention and all that stuff.
It is.
If an employee's walking around with a, like, I'm just not interested in being recorded like that. That would deter me from going into those stores.
I
I don't
thought
like
about
going
that.
into that chain of stores anyhow. I go into Home Goods, I sweat. It's too freaking hot in there. The
I
rest of them, I have
thought
no
about it.
interest. Yeah.
I thought about it. The only thing it's like, you know what? It cuts down on the, I mean, it increases the accountability. Everyone's got to be accountable now. And again, I understand kind of how this is going to make people. You're on camera anyhow. If
Just
somebody's
go in
filming,
there and be a good human and buy your
I
shit and go home.
I don't disagree. I
Yeah,
don't disagree.
whatever. All right. Greenhouse. So Greenhouse brought in a new CRO,
Okay.
which I really like this. I don't know who the old CRO was, but I like the move because we spoke with them. This is
Mm-hmm.
back in the fall, maybe, and they were making some changes, and they were a little kind of upset that they were only at a 20% year over year.
I think it was 50%.
50, yeah, yeah. So
And they were getting 17%, which felt like 50%.
right, well, exactly right. So the idea here is I like this move because they care. They're not
Mm-hmm.
happy with status quo, and they
Right.
need to get to where they want to be. And they're not doing bad. They're
No.
crushing it in the market. Like they
They
are hockey
no.
stick crushing it. But
No.
they care enough that they're just like, this
Let's
little
go.
bit
Let's change it
of
up a little
tweak
bit.
is gonna be good. So his name is Samir Jaglikar, maybe.
We should just
Not
not
don't
pronounce
say names
names.
anymore. We're
Yeah.
really bad at
Just
this.
look.
So anyway, maybe we'll get Samir on and we'll talk about some plans. But congrats to him. Congrats to Greenhouse. I think that's going to
Yeah.
be a good thing for them moving forward.
100%. All right. Corporate diversity programs could be headed to the Supreme Court. So this
Hmm.
is on Axios.com, and it's this kind of the read the article because it's really got all the kind of the steps of all the different lawsuits that are in play right now at the state level. And if you care about corporate DEI, then you got to really be looking at the lower court and the Court of Appeals cases. Because the legal fight over diversity efforts in the business world brought by the same group that got the Supreme Court to overturn affirmative action last year.
Hmm.
So this is the same group, which shocking, not shocking, it would be the same group, right? They've already argued this stuff in front of it, but basically this came from a they it was a venture capitalist firm grant for black women entrepreneurs, and this group sued to say that that was not equitable, that
Hmm.
wasn't fair. That basically you can't do that. And so if you want to go back and look at this specific one, this is about the appeals court's decision halted the VC
Hmm.
firm's grant program. So now basically they put a stay and said you can't fund that. You want to
Right.
fund black women entrepreneurs, you can't,
Hmm.
which is insane because it's private money. should be
private
able to
money.
do whatever
Private
the hell they want
money,
to.
yeah, private money should be able to do what they want to do.
Now,
Um,
we don't know where their money. I should say
we don't know where the
it.
money's coming from.
We don't know where the money because it could have come from state agencies and
Correct.
pension funds and things like that. But key is on this is the same group that overturned affirmative action is the same group that's
Hmm.
tackling corporate DEI programs. And my fear, and it's playing out in some cases, and others it's not, that they're not just gunning for DEI, they're gunning to eliminate DEI in corporations.
Hmm.
So
That's
that's at
interesting.
Axios. So Axios.com, go take a look at it, read the whole thing, see if you have a different opinion, etc. Reach out to us if you do.
Yep.
All right, Ryan. New job postings for tech occupations reached 209 in May. Job postings for AI occupations or positions requiring AI skills continued kind of trending upward, totaling 12% of all tech openings. So
Hmm.
12% is eating into that software developer, full stack,
Hmm.
all of those types of positions. 12%. That was on Pure Newswire, and so it automatically, as I read the press release, I'm basically thinking, where are these workers going to come from? Now you juxtapose that with skills-based hiring, and okay, that's which is cool. But when people don't have the skills that are available, 12% of tech jobs that are posted, if they don't have those skills, how do we get from one place to the other? So
Right.
it's great that I mean, when you first read it, this is on PR Newswire. When you first read it, and this is by CompTIA, by the way. So COMTIA, they're the ones that follow tech positions.
Hmm.
And, tech positions having more openings. I think we've been looking forward to that. That's good. But 12% having AI, if they don't have the skills, not good.
I
So
think a lot of I think we're underestimating the amount of people that actually do have these skills coming in,
probably, probably.
and so I think we'll be okay with. It'll be hard to hire, but I think that's going to be who's paying more and
Mm,
who's doing the most innovative things, right? So I think that's going to be an issue for them there, and I think there's also going to be a lot of learning on the job, and that's fine. I mean, look, new things are new things, right? And
right,
so
right.
although this is not very new, right? I think
I
a lot
know.
of
Good
people,
point. Good
this
point.
is not new. This is 30, 40 years old. Like it's been there. It's now prevalent, right? The internet was there before we had access to AOL,
That's a good point. That's
right?
a good
So
point.
the skills are there. I don't know if the people that are going to get hired are going to be the long-term solution because some of these people, maybe
They might just
exiting the
hire.
workforce.
They might just have tech backgrounds, and then
Yeah.
they can teach them, or they'll expect them to learn the stuff on the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So
All
that
right.
was the completion of research. We are now to
Yep.
the A,
We got some
B, A,
acquisitions to talk about.
A.
So, Clear Company acquired a learning management tool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw this out there and I put it in. I figured you'd throw it in there too. But we spent all last week
Mm-hmm.
at an event that's all about learning and all that
Skills.
stuff and skills and all that stuff with learning and things being core to productivity, being core to staying power or staying power of the employees and growing employees, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this that's out there. I don't know either. I mean, I know the companies. I don't know. I've never used them, I should say, uh, either tool, so I don't know how good they are versus not. But I mean, look, we're going to see a lot of this moving forward, especially as we are moving into similar to your previous story there about hiring more on the AI side, and skills may be in shortage, and so we're going to continue to see this.
Yeah, I think a couple things. So this week with Cornerstone, this past week was less about learning and more about skills.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, skills at the core of everything. Learning being one of those things, but
Yep.
but basically everything. As it relates to Clear Company, you just or most people just call them Clear.
Mm-hmm.
Clear was one of the first ATSs to add performance. So basically, they had a full-on ATS and a full-on performance management together. and then some other things kind of in between, but those two, and this is adding a kind of a third leg, if you will, to talent management.
Right.
So if you've got an ATS, so you've got, let's say, onboarding, you've
Mm-hmm.
got you've got performance management, and now you've got learning management. And so it brings them closer to being a one-stop shop, which is good. So good move for them,
Yep.
good move for their customers. Job JobGet acquires Workin to expand retail footprint. This is at JobGet, JOBGET.com. You
Mm-hmm.
can kind of look at the press release there. JobGet's acquisition of a leading platform for hiring frontline workers in malls will enable JobGet to connect with millions of additional everyday workers and jobs in retail, hospitality, and food service.
Yeah.
Small fish eats smaller fish, which is good for JobGet customers. Because think about
Yeah.
all the people who go to the mall and get jobs and all that tough stuff. So
Yep.
great pickup.
Yeah. What I like about this one is it's hyper local. Like it
Yeah.
is there, right? And so this is kind of guerrilla marketing in hiring. It's like right there on the ground, mom and pop. They don't have to compete with Coca-Cola. So like this, don't know much about either of the companies. I know they are
Right.
small. So hey,
Malls. I mean, how many
malls
times do you hear malls?
or the mall by us. I don't know how they're staying open. I mean, it is a ghost town. There's gotta be, I would say, less than a dozen stores in there, and it's a big
Oh no,
mall.
ours is
You
ours
know,
is ours is thriving.
no,
Mostly
not
because
this
of
one.
the 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds.
Mm. Nope, ours are out there just breaking street signs.
All right, well, a last acquisition we have is Trust Crude is now part of Jobilon.
Yeah.
So Jobilon, Jobylon, is kind of a think of a hiring platform that'd be
Hmm.
Jobilon. It, basically acquiring Trust Crude to understand its candidates better. They do a bunch of surveys, they bunch of basically they make the candidate experience better, and
Hmm.
so it's a great acquisition, really, really great acquisition for Jamalon. And so it's not just tech; the people from Trust Crude are actually coming over and planning to
Right.
stay. So it's not just like what you would normally see, like buying the tech and then the people leave or whatever else like that. This looks legit like a good
Good.
addition to the team and the technology.
Well, congrats
Yep,
to them. All right, so got some research here.
bring it.
This one, I had to put this one in. This is a Bamboo HR
Uh huh.
uh, piece here. So they did a survey where they found that 1 in 4 executives say that they hoped for turnover with
Oh,
RTO
interesting.
policies, with
Oh,
return
that's
to
savvy.
work policies. Yeah. And so
Huh. Huh.
rather than doing layoffs, rather than saying, here's 500 people,
Yeah,
peace
everybody's
out,
got to come. Everybody's got
right.
to come back 5 days a week.
Yeah, you got to come back. Hopefully, people
So
are
then you
going to
quit.
cut off.
So then you quit
Then you
rather
quit.
than being fired. You also don't have to. You're not
Yeah.
firing people, so it doesn't make it look like an art. I mean, it looks bad either way.
Yeah.
It's just it's going to get more news coverage
Yeah. Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
layoff.
Exactly.
Huh.
So hot take on the RTO thing for me is productivity is not linked to visibility.
No.
However, I want to share a couple of stats here. So let me pull these suckers up because I did find this interesting. So I'm going to throw some numbers out there. 26%, okay, of employees say greater divide. There was a greater divide has developed between remote
Yeah.
and non-remote workers. So
Yeah.
bringing people, giving people the option or bringing people in the office, it's now separating those people. They are
Yeah.
feeling the separation,
Yep.
right? They're not engaging with each other and they're almost like forming cliques, right? Um,
Yep.
yeah, so obviously that number was higher, it was close to 50%, so 44% of hybrid or in-office employees said they don't have a strong relationship with remote colleagues as opposed to those that are actually in
I
the
can see that.
office.
I think all
Yeah,
that's natural.
makes
If you
makes
create
sense.
different, if you create different citizen groups,
That's
you
what you're
can't
doing.
you can't be shocked that there's
Yeah.
different citizen groups.
Now there was there was a part of the report which is actually pretty fascinating. I will throw a link somewhere. Um, the amount of people that said they actually get up out of their chair and walk around, loop
Yes,
around the office, not to talk to people,
I saw that. Yeah.
but to be seen in the
Huh.
office. So not
Oh,
only are you in the office that you probably don't want to be, not only are you being pulled away from your other coworkers, you're now doing the parade around the office to make sure your leadership sees that you care enough to be in the office, for which you
sorry.
hate being in the office to go home pissed off to your spouse.
Because I'm just trying to get here. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to get the promotion, people.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
I'm here.
Peace.
National Society of High School Scholars. That's NSHSS. To those that might care, Henry was a member of this group. Was just released its biannual 2024 Gen Z Career Interest Survey. That's at
Mhm.
nshss.org. So you can go read the survey and read the results yourself. So this is all about AI. So there's the results cover a spectrum. What do they think about brands? What do they think about this, that, the other? But the part about AI was the most fascinating to me. It's 3 points. 59% believe that AI will be a more negative than positive effect on society.
Hmm.
59, 60%. 55% are extremely concerned about AI's impact on personal privacy.
Hmm.
Now, these are high school students, by the way. 62% are worried about job displacement. That's a big number. So, all negative.
Yeah, well, the job displacement makes sense to me though, because with
Yeah,
with a lot of
these
the
are.
layoffs and parents having to have two
Mm-hmm.
household incomes and maybe not being able to find work for an extended period of time, they see this,
Yeah,
so that fear and anxiety builds up in them. Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
yeah. Go take a look at the report. It has way more than just this AI stuff. So
yeah,
if I just don't want to pigeonhole people into thinking that it's just about AI, it actually covers
right.
what high schoolers are thinking about in
Mhm.
terms of what happens after high school.
Yeah. All right. The 2024 State of Hourly Workforce Report. Sadly, I read this report. Let me
Wow.
back
Sadly,
up. It was a good report.
there you
Let
go.
me start there.
Lead.
I say sadly because I didn't have internet connection on the plane. No, I had internet. I didn't have headphones. My bad. I did not have headphones on the plane,
So you
so
couldn't
I
listen to music while you
couldn't
were
couldn't
reading?
listen to anything, couldn't watch TV. I tried watching the shows with the captions,
Mm.
couldn't keep up with the captions because it was too quick. I was like, you know what? I'm either gonna sleep or I'm gonna read. And I had this report downloaded, and so I read the report. Good report, actually. It was pretty good report. So it covers three key things: reducing attrition, how to look at unionization risk, and then the challenges managers face with an hourly workforce. So all
And
things,
for those that are trying to follow on, this was put together by Legion.
yes.
So if you go to legion.co, you can see the report as well.
Yeah,
All right,
you
sorry, go
find
ahead.
it there. So, all right. So, a couple of things that stood out to me. One in four hourly workers, when presented with the option, were in favor of unionization.
That's a high number.
That
Mm.
is a high number. It's 25%.
Yeah,
And I think that can cause, obviously, a lot of anxiety in employers, right? I mean, every hourly work or every company that has a high volume of hourly workers, that's a big deal, right? Like if
yeah.
a union steps in. So a couple of things, and I tend to look at numbers in reverse. So when it says 69% of the people said they value the people they work with, I read that as they're trying to put a positive spin on this. That's 40-ish,
30,
41%,
31.
something. 31, yeah, I'm good like that. 31, I'm off by a little bit. Uh, said that they can't stand the people they work with. 60% said they like the way the work that they do. Well, 40% said they didn't like the shit they do, right? So that's the
The
bigger
funniest
problem
part,
for me.
the funniest part of this whole thing is I saw the math and I didn't correct it.
Yeah, I got an itch here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
No, no,
anyway, yeah,
you're good.
dickhead. but but the reports are good. Like I actually enjoyed
Yeah,
this report. But tell the other story. Like just
yeah.
if 60% of the people love the work that they do, that's a high number of
It's a
people
great number.
that don't like the work that they do. That's 40%.
That's right.
That's a bigger problem, right? That
30,
those are the people we need
30,
to focus on.
31%.
Yeah, 31. No, that was 40 because it was 60. even math is good. It's when it gets into, that's why I can never be a waiter or a cashier. Like, 6, 7, 25, it's your change. You know
I
what?
don't know why the tail keeps coming up.
Would you switch the side, switch the story, go. Do something else.
Oh, 71% of CEOs have imposter syndrome, according
Ooh.
to Workforce 2024 Global Insights report by Korn Ferry. You go to kornferry.com and then you go read the whole report.
Mm.
So my take is, first of all, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I think to be a successful CEO, one must be almost crazy with confidence, a touch of narcissism, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Imposter syndrome is the persistence ability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved due to one's efforts
I am
or
so confused on
skills.
what you just said right now.
So so basically, you don't believe that you should be there.
Right, right. So are we
That's
saying that they're faking it until they hopefully make it, or they just don't have
they
confidence that they believe they should be there?
they believe they have imposter syndrome. 71%
Oh, that they
believe they
believe they
have,
have.
which I think is crazy. So
Hmm.
how many CEOs do you know that fit that description? That
Yeah.
feel like they an
You know,
inability to believe. Inability is the key here for imposter syndrome. It's the persistent inability to believe that one's success is
huh.
deserved
What did it
or is
give you a breakdown of size of company?
no.
Because that would
It,
sway me one way or the other. If you're a Fortune
really,
500, Fortune 100,
you've been there.
you
You've done it.
need some chops to get there. If it's a 50-person company, battlefield promotion, you're an amazing salesperson who can lead people. They may stick you into that CEO role because
Yeah,
why
yeah,
not? And
that's fair.
you don't have that. But I find it hard to believe you get into a 1,000 or a 500 or certainly a Fortune 100. Like
They
you
did
need, yeah.
they did do they did 10,000 respondents, and they did do the full spectrum. So I know
Hmm.
they got it, and they probably do. You probably can slice the data to find out
Yeah,
where that 71% comes up.
yeah,
Just I had a hard time even with a company with
yeah.
1,000 employees. If you're that CEO of a 1,000 person firm, I just can't believe that you feel like you have imposter syndrome. You might have anxiety, you might like feel
Hmm.
other things going on, but like to feel like
But
you don't deserve to be there, I just don't buy that. Sorry. So,
yeah, I
all
mean,
right. Don't expect juniors to teach senior professionals to use generative AI, according to a study by MIT, you know, Harvard, Wharton, and Boston Consulting Group. So four relatively smart
hmm,
organizations, we'll say. This is on papers.ssrn.com. It's an academic paper. But it tracks for me because who taught us the internet? We taught
yeah,
ourselves.
hmm.
Who taught us social media? We
Al
taught
Gore taught
ourselves.
me.
Who will teach you Gen AI? If we expect the younger people to teach us Gen AI, I just don't think that's
It,
going to happen because it's never happened that way.
yeah. How many of you have actually sat down with your parents and tried to explain the at symbol on an email? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
ain't that.
yeah.
Just get
Why
in
is
there
it?
and play with it. Figure it out.
Why is the 12 blinking? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what?
You know what I want to get paid to do research like this so that I can give the outcome before I even do the research and say, no shit, my kid's not going to teach me effectively how to use Gen AI.
You're gonna learn it yourself or not. I guess
Yeah,
that's the key. Or not. You
or
can opt
not.
out of the learning and
You can
just
go
get passed
retire.
by. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. We're getting to the
whatever.
F, the funding, some
All right.
dollars.
So AWS drops 230 million into Gen AI startups to
Yeah,
accelerate
smart.
innovation. So what I like about this, they're not just dropping cash. They're actually building an accelerator
Yeah, that's smart.
for everything that they do. And so some of the challenge, obviously you know this, the biggest challenges a lot of these startups have isn't necessarily cash. Well, yes, cash, of course, but when AWS builds an accelerator and says you
Yes.
can become part of this 8 week intensive or whatever it's going to be, and we're going to give you $7 million in AWS credits,
Yep.
it's the same as getting cash, right? Let's just, I mean,
Which all that stuff, the all that stuff is going to need all that
yeah,
AWS infrastructure. So they'd have
exactly.
to buy that stuff. And now with
Which,
the accelerator,
right,
Amazon gets to learn something.
they
So
get
they're
to do
learning.
their thing.
They got probably first right of refusal on the
Hmm.
future fundings.
Sure.
So that's just a win-win-win-win for
And when
everybody.
it's time to pay up, well, they're already there. Now they've incubated a company that went big, and now they can afford to pay them.
Expect similar things if they're not already out there from Microsoft, from
Sure.
Google, from Facebook, from Meta,
Hmm.
right? They're all going
Yep.
to be doing something similar to this because they've got to, if they've been sleeping on AI, which
Yep.
maybe Microsoft hasn't, but if they have been sleeping on generative AI, they've got to find a way to get there
Yeah.
faster than other people.
Yep.
Good. Visibly raises $7.5 million to turn infrastructure training on its head. That's at Visibly, Visibly, HQ.com.
You
This
sounded
is
like a
just,
news anchor there.
dude, this is just straight up. Comes right from the press release. I'm going to read it because it's actually really, really good copy. Think of an infrastructure worker excavating a hole. Sounds simple, but they hit a high pressure pipeline. The consequences could be fatal. We all know the dangerous task. So how is it taught? A classroom has a 20-question written assessment at the end of a course. It's pretty ridiculous, right? Training reimagined. So basically, what they're doing with
Mm.
workers that are out in the field doing stuff is they're actually really training them in a legit way, and I think it's genius. So first of all, the money's going to go to
Hmm.
adding more executives and adding more people to more training. So
I'm
all
just
good. So
impressed with
congratulations.
how you read that. That
There you go.
was
Yeah,
pretty good.
no worries. All right, you ready? Shift plan. That's SHYFT plan. .com. This is where the press release was. So this is okay. So terms not disclosed. So I think they've raised what's noted is like 13.5 million, like in Crunchbase, but they've
Hmm.
raised a little bit more because they just didn't note what this one was. But okay, so Shift Plan is an AI. Go to the website because the website's really cool. It's shift forecasting, shift switching, and shift scheduling, and they integrate with SAP and Workday. So is this a thing? Well, it's yeah, it's a feature, it's a product, but it will probably eventually end up
Hmm.
in a much bigger kind of product or suite
Yeah.
because they're already integrated with two of the three big players. But
Hmm.
it's AI based shift work.
There's a lot of S's in there.
Shift
I'm trying to figure out if AI
shift.
today could
Mm-hmm.
actually handle that. I mean,
Dude,
obviously it can,
there's a
but
graphic. There's a graphic on their just on the main page that shows how they do it.
yeah, well,
It shows like it's like the blood flow of your like going through your veins.
hmm,
It shows how it carries that data
yeah,
and then double checks it with other things and then makes decisions.
making sure PTO
Right,
request, all that
right,
stuff
right, right,
isn't
right,
affected.
right.
Yeah, yeah, I know a restaurant local to me that could use something like that because they tend to screw up schedules for the kids all the time. But
Look, all right. Blink IQ raises $5 million. So this is not about work,
mm,
but it is about work. So Blink IO raises 5 million for Gen AI software testing platform.
mm-hmm,
So this was softwaretestingmagazine.com.
yeah, for
Go read
engineering,
about
yeah.
it. Yep. So this is the FOBO comes back to us, right? This is basically Blink. So BLINQIO. I believe that's Blink IO will allow Gen AI to perform the work of a test engineer autonomously.
Mm-hmm.
So check this out. Blink IO's AI test engineer understands requirements, picks tasks, makes decisions on how to execute them, creating test automation code, and maintaining it autonomously.
Yep.
But will it hate its manager? That's the real question. So the reason I wanted to call this funding in particular is okay. People are like, "Oh my God, it's going to take my job." Yeah, actually, if you're a
Yeah.
testing engineer. They
I feel like this is a prime example of what should be taken from somebody.
right, right,
Like
right.
if the AI can get as good as everyone feels, and
Why are we doing it?
there's software running, I mean anything, like think of like I don't know, like a roller coaster, right? Like if it can run the software, if there's even
Yeah,
software in there, and like, and I'm not gonna fall out and it's not gonna lock up, dude, I'm down for that. Because I've seen some of those engineers that work on those.
straight out of prison.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're actually an engineer.
Oh no, hey, we're
Yeah,
using the term engineer lightly, ladies
yeah,
and gentlemen.
yeah. I'm a road engineer. Are you
You,
really,
you are
really?
straight out of prison,
Yeah,
son.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Relay raises $35 million
yeah.
funding to expand cloud-based platform for frontline teams. This was on moneyleads.co. Go
Hmm.
read the whole article. So this is comms for frontline teams,
Yeah,
which has always been a bit messy because things are busy, things are crazy, and it's the chaos of it all. And how do we get everybody on the same team, all the team on the same page, all that stuff. So I'm really glad that someone's cleaning it up. It wouldn't shock me if they acquired other frontline tech players, but congratulations to Relay for raising 35 million.
it's good money.
Good money. If you can get it, go get it. Workbox, awkward, secures 17.5 million, but they have the option to upsize that to 23 million. So this is on PR Newswire. Workbox is a better version of WeWork,
Hmm.
and it might be the bridge
So
that
say
folks.
you.
No, that's what they said. But it might be the bridge that people use for RTO.
Hmm.
So instead of RTO going to corporate headquarters, return office could be a workbox office.
Right,
And the funder in this particular round, uh, has a REIT, a real estate investment trust.
right.
So they're probably getting a break on the commercial real estate to then be able to make it work. Whereas a
Yeah,
WeWork, they were playing full retail for
yeah.
their spaces, right?
Hmm.
I don't think these folks are going to be paying full retail, and they're going to set up these offices, and it's the same model that's been around. What was it, Savitz? That's been around for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody needs an office. You
yeah. You
don't need
got
a big
Regis.
office.
There's a number of
Regis, oh yeah,
them. Yeah, there's a
you know,
ton
you,
of them out there.
it's not a new concept. It's kind of gone
Hmm.
away. The pandemic killed off a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
However, congratulations to them,
yeah,
$17.5 million.
yeah.
Not
I
easy.
mean, look, if they can get the cost per box or per office, whatever they call it, if they
Right.
can get the cost of that down below the square footage they would pay for me to come into an office,
That's right.
it's going to be a win.
It's
Because if it's a if I'm in a city somewhere, New York or Philly or wherever, there might be 30, 40 people that work in that general area, and they're only paying for number of people that come in. Like you
that's
don't
right.
pay. I don't know how they set it up, but I've thought about this where, well, okay, if I want to make a plan with you to go into an office, well, we just pay for that particular day.
That's
We
right.
don't have to have, it's a thing. I'm not sure, again, not sure how this is how they do it, but if they can keep it lower than the
Right.
square footage it costs for me to step into a building, I think it's going to be a win. And
100%.
somehow we'll start transitioning over to something more
Dude, we
like that.
barfed.
We did, man. This is a good one. A lot of good stuff coming off a heavy week of travel and
Oh
fun. A
yeah.
lot of talking. So
And we're out.